Welcome to Postgame on the Pitch. My name is Jackson Feltz of 950 KJR here in Seattle. Joining me today for Postgame on the Pitch, Andrew Harvey of Sportspress Northwest, also the voice of S2, as well as freelance writer Matt Pentz, writing legend here in Seattle, who now does a whole bunch of stuff, whole bunch of places. ESPN FC, been seeing a lot of his work there of late. We have a 1-0 Seattle Sounders win to talk about, guys. Clint Dempsey with the winner off of a cross of Jordan Morris. And a lot of different points to start about. So let's just first talk about the fact that this team is now unbeaten in 8 matches and tied atop the Western Conference. What does that mean for this team with some matches still remaining in this season?
Well, you know, it's always good to be getting into a run of form as you're heading down into the final third of the season, which this club is. You know, right now they're tied top of the Western standings. That said, we're recording this at right around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By 8 o'clock tonight, that might be somewhat different.
Right.
As there's a bunch of teams with games in hand. But, you know, it's always a good thing to be on top of the red line. It's a lot easier to stamp down on people who are trying to come up at you than grab them and pull them down. So, you know, a club that's getting into form at the right time, at the right part of the year. And if everyone stays healthy, this is a club now that, as the transfer window closes, has the depth to make a serious playoff push.
For sure, and I think this win was especially impressive among that 8-game unbeaten streak, just because Kansas City always gives this team problems. They're tough to break down. They came in top in the Western Conference, and yeah, they were less than full strength, having played that Open Cup game, but still, you saw it today. They're a stubborn team, difficult to break down, and it's the type of team the Sounders struggled with earlier in the year. So to be able to come down and be able to get the goal they needed and to earn those 3 points, today was a really good win.
And also to keep Kansas City off of the scoreboard. That is now part of this scoreless streak that is now at 400 minutes. It broke a club record in the 70th minute today. The club then extended it with the last 20 minutes, now at 400. Matt, this team defensively right now, Kelvin Leerdam has been on the field for all but 4 of those 400 minutes. How has he fit in? I mean, Schmetzer talked about how he was kind of the last piece of the puzzle. How has he fit in to this Sounders defense that is on fire right now?
For sure, and I think that was a good point by Schmetzer in the press conference to bring that up, because yeah, he has definitely pulled everything together. They have a good balance now. They seem to work off each other really well, and more positively from a Sounders perspective, they're probably only going to improve from here, because the chemistry is still a work in progress.
Alonso back.
Yeah, and most of this streak was without Alonso on the field. Traditionally, they would get torn up anytime he was on the sideline. So it's a really promising streak for them for sure, and something to keep an eye on going forward.
Andrew, when you look at this team's position right now, of course, as you mentioned, games still to go in this season, but with everything that we've seen from this team of late, getting Alonso back, what are the expectations for the rest of the season now that fans should have, that the club should have, about where they need to end up? Because the goal, obviously, is to repeat. Have they done what they need to do in the transfer window? Have they done what they need to do in these last 8 matches to set themselves up for this final run?
You know, I think I was going to urge caution until you rounded out the end of the question there and said, I think they have set themselves up to make a strong run to the end of the season. You know, we all know seeding matters a lot in the playoffs, especially if you happen to manage to skip the knockout round leg and go straight to your conference semifinals. I think they have done enough. You know, a lot of hubbub's being made about the fact that they didn't manage to bring in an additional designated player, but the core of the team is strong. Everyone is healthy, more or less, at the moment. If this is a club that stays healthy and continues to find the back of the net, which you have not 1 but 2 attacking players in Clint Dempsey and Will Bruin right now, who are finding the back of the net on a consistent basis, it's a recipe for winning games. Tie that into the fact that, like you said, no goals allowed in 400 minutes of play. That is a recipe that's going to get you points.
Last one for you, Matt. As Andrew mentioned, the team did not get a designated player, did pick up Victor Rodriguez, did pick up Kelvin Leerdam earlier, and then kind of the depth moves of Lamar Nagler, who we saw, 2-5-3 back on the field for Seattle, and also Callum Malice. Did this sound, for you, the expectations-wise, that I just asked Andrew as well, should the expectation based on those moves be top of the West, repeat again, or do we need to temper the expectations based on not getting a Adolis Gonzalez?
Yeah, I think that the lack of designated player signing was a missed opportunity for Seattle, just in the fact that the West is wide open. Every single team in the Western Conference has holes. You saw today with Kansas City, saw a little bit of that on their end, and so it was wide open. I think that a signing like that would have put Seattle over the top into being a legitimate front runner rather than just a contender. But they have a strong team right now. Sort of going back to what you were talking about earlier, that's going to make seeding very important. Right? So a lot of teams are on pretty level footing. This team is good enough right now to compete and to make a legitimate title challenge again. But it could come down to how they position themselves in the West over the last couple months.
Well, the next game for the Seattle Sounders is next Sunday here at CenturyLink Field against Minnesota United, Andrew's former club. So that will be at, I believe, 7 p.m. here at CenturyLink Field next Sunday evening, as who knows where the Sounders will be. Maybe they're going for the lead in the Western Conference. We'll see how the matches shake out this next week. For Matt Pentz and Andrew Harvey, my name is Jackson Feltz. Thanks for watching Postgame on the Pitch.